Big changes happening in the world of eBay. A good avenue, or at least it was a good avenue, to sell some of your silver. You could get a really good price for it if you were a private seller because there were no seller's fees for the last few months. But that's changing because eBay have now given us the sting in the tail, which is the introduction of buyer's fees. So if you're a buyer on eBay, you'll be paying 4% plus 75p. It's the death of eBay private selling, in my opinion anyway. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not going to be competitive, and you're going to probably be scammed at some point in your life cycle of selling on eBay. It's easier than ever now to fraudulently claim that you never got an item or that you did, but it's fake or something. I don't know. It's going to be really crap, and we're going to talk about that in this video. So sit back and relax as we do another precious metal ramble today about eBay. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another Precious Metal Ramble. We're going to talk today about some big changes to private sellers on eBay here in the UK. And be forewarned, if you're in the US, I'm sure these changes will be coming down the line at some point. eBay are moving into the next phase of their battle against other auction sites, including Vinted and many others like Whatnot, where they are getting smashed. And as a consequence, eBay are having to react, and it's causing, I think, a very interesting shift in the market for private sellers, for people who might just want to sell a couple of Silver Britannias or whatever it might be on eBay. I think those days are numbered. I think actual competitiveness on eBay is going to be dead. It's going to be even more of a scammer's paradise for buyers, and sellers are just going to end up really, it's just not worth it anymore. There are better platforms to sell on, and unfortunately I feel this is a step in the direction for the death of eBay. So we're going to cover some of the changes and how those might apply to you as a stacker individual, somebody who might just want to sell some of their silver or small gold on eBay. If you didn't know, you can't actually sell an ungraded coin that's worth more than £1,000 on eBay. I didn't know that until this week, but hey, you learn something new all the time. So I hope we can share some insights on that. If you would like to share your thoughts and opinions on this, I'd love to know them. It would be great to hear what you've got to say down in the comments section. And don't forget to put the thumbs up button on our videos if you like them, and subscribe for more. So, big changes. Now, what this is following on from is back last year, I think it was like November time, somewhere around there, eBay got rid of sellers' fees altogether for basically private sellers. If you were just a person looking to sell something on eBay, you could do so now for free. No more 12, 13, 14% sellers fees at all. Free to list, free to sell, job done. And that was great for that intermediate period. And we saw, as I predicted would happen, and many others to be fair, there was a huge drop in the average price of Britannias and various other silver bits and bobs on eBay, because now all these private sellers could come in and undercut the business sellers who are having to charge 14, 15% more just to be competitive. So why would you go to a business seller and buy, at a certain price, £34 an ounce, when you could buy from a private seller for £28 an ounce and they'd get all that money in their pocket? Well, those days are over, because now we have buyer's fees from private sellers. So here is a little email that I got on my private eBay account, I should say, sorry. It's not the full email, there are other little bits on there, but these are some of the most important bits, and we're going to talk about some of them that I've digested here. So, the big change is the buyer's fee. So down here, they're calling it buyer protection fee, which is a little bit weird because there was already buyer protection on eBay anyway, but because I suppose they got rid of the seller's fees, they weren't actually being able to pay for that buyer protection in any other way for those private sellers. So, it is now a fee for buyers at checkout for anything a private seller is selling. So business sellers don't get a buyer's fee. They're still paying through their front teeth for their seller's fees, but they don't have any buyer fees if you buy from a business seller on eBay. The fee is 4% plus 75p, and that plus 75p is the killer. If it was just 4%, that would be kind of okay. Like, it would suck, but it wouldn't actually demolish the market. The 75p is the big one. And it's going to kill small fractional silver. Old world, beautiful. I remember the days when I would keep a real eye out. I still got some of the saved searches on eBay of old, like, 2 franc Swiss coins and silver dimes and things like that you could pick up for really good prices. Now you can't, because if I was to go and find, let's call it a £10 coin from eBay, and it's like, let's say it's £10 spot price or something, They had 4% on that, which is 40p. They had 75 pence on top of that. So all of a sudden, that £10 coin turns into £11 and maths 15p. And then it's just not competitive anymore. And the crazy thing is that the business sellers, they'll be selling at £10. The buyer will see the £10 and they'll buy from the £10. The sellers will obviously have their seller's fees on top of that to margin and take out for their profit. But you're going to not be competitive as a private seller. That's the big thing here. The other major change on this is that there is going to be payments only after delivery. So seller paid after delivery, it says here, when buying from private sellers, funds will only be sent once the item has been delivered. So as a buyer, from what I understand, it basically means you'll buy for it, you'll pay eBay, and then eBay will pay the seller 2 days after the delivery has been ratified by eBay. And to ratify the delivery by eBay, you have to now use a tracked service. In the deeper T's and C's on their website, it does say that if you use an untracked service on eBay, then it's 14 days after the order, and assuming that no claims have been made against you by the buyer, that's when you then get your money. So that sucks big time, because again, if you're selling a £10 coin on eBay, you now have to, let's say, to be competitive with some of the other business sellers out there, you're probably going to have to sell it for like £8.50, maybe £9, something like that. And then you're going to have to offer a tracked service if you want to get your money within 2 days, or an untracked service, and you have to wait 2 weeks. So for somebody who needs, oh God, my boiler's broken or something, I need to sell like 100 quid's worth of coins to get there. I'm going to put 4 of my Britannias up on eBay, £25 each. And then you get 4 individual buyers. You've then got to pay the postage for each one. Do you pay track postage on each one? You probably should, but if you don't, then you don't get your money for 2 weeks. So all of a sudden, eBay is now a really crap avenue to sell your silver. It really is, I think, the death of small scale selling on eBay for private individuals. There's just no way that this plus 75p can be competitive for anyone. And that's what eBay want. They don't want the private sellers selling their old odds and sods. And this is the same, by the way, if you sell just anything, like a piece of clothing or a bit of junk that you found or something that, has got £2-3 value. People do that. I've seen plenty of people within the whiskey world. I enjoy a little tipple here and there. They'll buy a fancy bottle. They'll sell the bottle, the empty bottle, and the box on eBay. They'll get a couple of quid, but times are tough and people need to have that little bit extra going in their pockets. And that's now, what's the point? Like, people aren't going to buy that now. Like, if you have to pay plus 75p and you're just going to get a quid out of it, if you offer something for £1, which some people would have done in the past, it now costs the person who's buying it nearly £2. And then you've got to do postage. Nah, people aren't going to spend that much more. And let's not kid ourselves. The buyer's fee here is essentially a seller's fee. There's a lot of talk that from eBay's, basically propaganda, that this is a buyer's fee. Only the buyers pay the fee, but they don't, because this is not universal across the platform. Private sellers are affected by this, but business sellers are not. Business sellers still have their huge 14% fees, or maybe a little less if you've got a volume sale business and so on, but they still have to factor in those sellers' fees. It's just going to be the death of it. Now, I don't particularly use eBay an awful lot at all, actually, anymore. I used to a fair amount of time ago, back away when I got started. I started selling a little bit and here and there on eBay, and it was okay. It wasn't too bad, but I haven't really used it a great deal. Every now and again, I'll put some auctions up for some of the slightly more specialist numismatic collectibles, but I don't use eBay on a regular basis. I have a private eBay account on my personal side that I will buy and sell the odd little bit here of junk and stuff, but that's going to be difficult, and that's going to be less practical and lucrative. I suppose lucrative is the wrong word, because I don't really use it to sell things for profit. I'm not trading as a business on those kind of things. I'm just trying to get rid of some of the junk and clutter in our lives, normal stuff that people everywhere would do. And now it's just impractical and it's not very good. And I sort of said at the beginning there, a scammer's paradise. And I do genuinely believe this is now going to be a bit more of a scammer's paradise, because the fact that you have to wait weeks sometimes to get your money from these transactions that you're doing, I think is just going to put a lot of people off, certainly for precious metals. And a lot of people might say, well, nothing's really changed because people can still scam you on eBay as a buyer. And yeah, that's true. But now the difference is you don't get your money for 2 weeks. eBay just put it on hold. At least with, and I'm not saying condoning this in any way because it's a very strange way to look at it, but let's just hypothetically say you sell something, you get scammed by the buyer, right? You don't use eBay very often. You put a £100 item up on eBay, you sell it, you get your £100, you cash out, because that's what eBay does at the moment. You cash out pretty much every day or instantly at the moment. These changes take effect on the 4th of February, I believe. So you would have that £100 in your bank account. And what eBay would do is they would then basically put a £100 hold on future sales. Now, I think in extreme circumstances, they can raid your bank account and get that money out. But generally, I've never really had experience of that or seen case studies of that. But maybe they'll get that money back somehow, somewhere. But generally, if you don't, but the point is that the money's still in your account for a long period of time until it comes out. With this system, you're going to be up the creek without a paddle because you'll be out of your item because the scam has stolen it. You'll be out of the sort of money in your bank because it won't have landed in your bank at all. And then in eBay's T's and C's, if a claim is made against you and you dispute it and lose as a seller, you get charged £16.80 on top for eBay's privilege of absolutely never siding with a legitimate seller. And there's nothing you can do as a seller to protect yourself. It's a bit of a gamble and a lottery. Beyond really sort of seeing the buyer and the profile of the buyer when they actually place the order and you go, well, that's a brand new buyer, or that's got a bunch of really unscrupulous feedback, or they've bought only like £1.99 knick-knack items and suddenly they've bought my £500 coin, then you maybe go, okay, maybe not. But beyond that and protecting yourself, there ain't a lot you can do. So I do genuinely think this is a really, a bit of a sad time really for UK eBaying. I think it is the death, the nail in the coffin of those private sellers. But the point is that eBay doesn't care. They don't want the private sellers anymore. They want to put everybody on business selling. Now, what I will say is that you could still use eBay as an avenue to sell some of your coins. The 4% plus 75p for a £30 coin for an ounce of silver, let's say, you're still probably going to get around about what you might get compared with some of the marketplaces out there, like the Silver Forum and other ones. It's more of a risk though, and it's less convenient, and you don't get your money in the same time frame. So those are the considerations really, but you still will get your money and a half decent return. But if you sell more stuff on there, if you sell a couple, so here's HMRC's rules. This is the thing that really concerns me, right? You sell 30 items, I think it is, in a given year, then you get reported to HMRC. If you sell more than, I think it's £1,000, you get reported to HMRC. And you just know that eBay are going to go and say, now we think you need to be on a business account, mate. You've sold a bunch of this, you're trading. So you need to pay us a monthly fee now to be a business seller. And you pay your final value fees, 14%. How's that? Oh, and if you don't like it, you can't ever sell on eBay again. Kind of not bothered about that last point, quite frankly, because I don't really think I'm going to ever really sell too much more on eBay again after this. I think it's just not worth it. There's no point. Yeah, the argument is that they will bring you an audience and a marketplace that's bigger than maybe the reach that you might get, but I've got a pretty big reach. Not a lot of other people have, and that's a sad fact of the matter, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a bit of a crap one, isn't it? Right, here's a little example that they put on here. So buyers will pay up to 4%, up to 4% of the fee of the item price. They say up to, because theoretically there is reductions, but I will wait and see what those might be. So for example, when they see an item for £20, the fee of £1.49 is already in that price. So you have to list an item for £18.51 for the buyer to spend £20. And then you postage on top. It's not good. It's not good. I think it's the death of eBay, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being a bit facetious about it, but I do think it's going to be interesting to see how it rolls out. So one thing that I'll bring it round in a full circle, like the Donald Trump weave. I am a master of it, I like to think. So in November, I saw a sharp drop off in the number of inquiries of people selling smaller collections of their silver, because they could just go and sell it on eBay for free, no fees, and get their money very quickly and get a slightly higher price. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But now it's a bit more difficult. Now it costs more, and now you can't really be as competitive. So I wonder whether or not there will be more inquiries over the coming 6 months about selling little bits of collections, 2, 3, 5 coins at a time, something like that, 10 coins. You know, previously in the last few months, you'd just stuck them on eBay and got what you got. Now, that's a bit more difficult, a little bit less convenient. You know, send me your coins and I'll sell them the same day I get them, and you get probably around the same price you would from eBay after everything, and there's no hassle, there's no risks of scamming. Not going to do a shameless plug, but I'm shamelessly plugging the fact that I think I'm a better option than eBay right now, if I'm being brutally honest. And the best option is just to do it all yourself, either through the Silver Forum, social media, Bookie, FaceTime, whatever it is, and or X, Y, and Z, whatever platform that is, although I don't think many people sell through that platform, but who knows. The point here is that I think we're seeing the death knell of eBay. More protection for buyers, eh? Yeah. You won't have very many buyers when there's not very many sellers on your platform. I've seen a lot of videos. I like watching videos of people who do eBay flipping for a living, not on silver and gold, just anything and everything. Nick and Andrea Mills, they won't watch this video, but I love their channel. There's a really good, fun channel. Lots of really good insights about business, about selling and buying. Really, really good. I'm going to shout them out in the video in the comment section and a link to their channel. Go and see them. They are really fun and just down-to-earth people, but they sell on eBay. They don't like this a lot, I'll tell you what. And there are plenty of others out there in the eBay reselling community that will agree with my sentiments that this is eBay's tactic to bunk off all the private sellers, get them into business accounts, make as much money as they can. So we will see. I think eBay's dying a slow death and it will be gone in 10 years, or at least it won't be relevant. There'll be other platforms, and there are other platforms. Vinted has, the whole point of these changes is to basically fall in line with Vinted. And there are other auction platforms, Whatnot, for example, and others that are just doing way better and will continue to do better than eBay. eBay, unfortunately, were the first, didn't adapt in the right way, and now they're paying for it. They've already ditched PayPal as well, which was probably quite a good idea considering the huge honey scandal that's going on and the fact that PayPal arguably, you know, morally bankrupt, aren't they? PayPal are awful. I hate PayPal, but I do have to use them sometimes. Anyway, all right, I've moaned enough. Thank you all for watching. Cool Kids Club. We need something for you to quote, so let's find a serial number. There is not one on there. I think there was one on the gold though, isn't there? There is! Cool Kids Club. You need to quote me. Serial number TG000971. And if you quote that in the comment section, then you are officially inducted into the Cool Kids Club. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.